Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro, again coming to you from beautiful Delft in the Netherlands. And it is our third and final little snippet of a video from the presentations I gave recently to the postgrad students at the UNESCO IHE. So thanks again to Asla for inviting me over to speak with these students. And this time, I actually really enjoyed this little segment. I enjoyed all the segments, right? But this one kind of stuck in my mind because I got asked a really good question by one of the students. And his question essentially was, look, what do the public think of stormwater treatment systems in the streetscape when they're outside their homes? And this is a topic that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and that's mainly because if you've watched some of our other videos, you might have seen Ben, or you might have heard Ben behind, heard me mention Ben because he's been behind the camera. Ben's been doing some really good work thinking about this himself. And so, I got asked this question and I had a lot of fun answering it, and I want to share that with you today. So I hope that you enjoy. And without further ado, here you go. Here's the video. I think my main comment on it is that it varies from person to person because we all have different perspectives and preferences. So, and I'll show you photos of this that will demonstrate this well, I hope. This particular development is on the Sunshine Coast, it's north of Brisbane. There have been some surveys of residents in this particular development, and I asked them things about whether they liked the systems and also whether they knew anything about what they were or whether they did any maintenance to them. And in this development where the systems were built pretty well and looked pretty good, they got fairly high response rates of residents liking them, and also residents doing a little bit of maintenance, like picking up litter if they saw it in there. Litter's the main thing that they would do. So there's some evidence that if it's done really well, people can like it and will like it. Equally, I went out to this particular system one day, and this was literally this day, I was standing here taking photographs, and the guy who owns that home walked out. Firstly, he thought it was really weird that I was taking photographs outside his house, which fair enough, right? But he came over for a chat, and I asked him a bit about it, asked him what he thought about it. And he made some interesting comments on that particular day, because this system, you can see, he's on a corner block, he's got a driveway that runs behind there, and then the system wraps right round the front, and then right up the side of it. And his comment was that he didn't like the front of the system because his driveway was really narrow. So it was a little bit difficult. They had two cars and they had to there were some issues there. He also felt that it kind of got in the way from getting to the street to his house. And so because he had a really big house on a really small block, he was like, well, I'd prefer if this was grass because then I'd have a bigger front yard and sort of thing. But in the same breath, he said to me, I really like this up the side because there's lots of trees, so no one can get near my fence, so we feel kind of more secure with it there. So he was making some comments about that. And I was like, okay, I can get that. This system's got lots of plants. I think it's kind of attractive, so seeing that. Then, so all of that kind of made sense to me. But the day that made me really made me realize it's all about people's perceptions and what I think of anything really just doesn't matter here, was I went out to this other system that backs onto some houses. So it's a fairly main road along here, and then there's houses behind it, and each of the houses, the driveway's full of them. So that house, its driveway's over there, and that house, its driveway comes off the side street there. And again, I was in here taking photographs. This system is not in good condition. It's got heaps of weeds in it. It's pretty ugly. There's a fair bit of bare earth in it. Ugly in my opinion. Then this is the key point here. And again, the resident poked his head over the fence and was like, what the heck are you doing? Like, poking around beside my house. So I explained to him what I was doing and then talked to him. And I found it really interesting that he said to me, oh no, we still really like it for exactly that reason. It gives us privacy. It means that no one can get, beside our fence here because there are trees there. And so to come back to your question about what do people think of them, I don't have a clear answer. I think some people like them and some people don't, and I just don't have enough information to know why. But what I've learned is that my perception of whether a system is good or bad, because I thought that system was bad, probably has nothing to do with what the resident thinks of that.